haven't done
producing.
as much as you, but you say go? Oh, sorry. Welcome to On the Slate with Black Beauty TV. I'm your host, Phoenix, and today we're here with the beautiful, multifaceted actress, Miss Anika McFalls. How you doing, girl? Thank you for joining us.
I am good. I am good. Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate
Absolutely,
it.
absolutely. I'm hearing a slight accent. That's from Gary, Indiana, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
When did you move over here?
It's been a while. I've been here, but that's still home for me.
No, I love that you didn't lose the accent. A lot of people try to figure out where they came from.
No, I sure did. You know, this is where I'm from. But sometimes you got to code switch a little bit because I've always worked in corporate America.
Mm-hmm.
And,
We know how that is.
yeah, you know.
I was
like
looking at
that.
your IMDb page. I love in your quote section it says, "If you've sown your garden in barren soil, be prepared for thorns." What inspired that quote? Like, what did you go through to give you that realization?
Well, you know, it wasn't, I can honestly say, I didn't have a lot of adversity, but the things that I did encounter, it's like any other artist. When you want to create and that's all you want to do, and you're passionate about it, and you train, and you study it, and when other people don't take it as serious and, you know, put the effort that you've put into it, sometimes it gets to be a little disappointing.
Yeah.
So it's mostly that, and more on the business aspect. Like, you know, I went to school for business, so I approached this as a business. Of course, creative, but then it's also a business. So I like to make sure that that part is in order.
Yeah.
I learned.
So you asked earlier if I also act. I mostly do music, but I dabbled into acting a little bit. I haven't done as much as you, but one thing that I definitely noticed is that a lot of people who are supposed to be business are not business. So I can only imagine how it must have felt like for you coming from majoring in business, you know what I mean? And realizing that a lot of folks just aren't about what they're supposed to be about in the moment. How do you navigate that, especially as a black woman in this industry? How do you get around, or not get around, how do you push through and like
Navigate it.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good question. It's very difficult to get me down and experience any type of negativity, because where I'm from is a little different. And anytime that you're out there living your dreams, pursuing your dreams, that's all that really matters. So when you run into those hardships as a black woman, when people underestimate what you do, and when you have to, people expect you to dummy yourself down, and when you don't,
They get mad, girl.
I have learned.
Surprisingly mad.
But it's really, and it's not really from a, oh, I know this, or I'm experienced, I'm credentialed this way. It's more so that like, hey, let's do this. I came here to, for real.
Yes.
And I came far, long and far to do this. So I stay positive and I stay focused on that, what it is that I came here for. I could work in corporate America anywhere in the U.S., but here I was like, well, you know, let me work.
Yeah.
Let me put in the work, let me grind, and I learned to be more selective with my work. You know, it took me a while because you really just want to work and you're out there doing anything, but I just kept my eye focused on what I came here to do.
Who instilled that in you? Who instilled the confidence?
Gary, Indiana.
What about it? Because I know I really don't enjoy LA too much, so I know it must have been a huge contrast. Because my family's from Alabama, Louisiana, and Mississippi. So like our southern roots, and like they act very different. They feel very different. Like they feel very much more authentic. Like they actually care. And LA feels kind of devoid of that. So like, who got you ready? You know what I mean, to come out here, and like what I guess lessons did you take from Gary, Indiana, that helps you to see through some of the I guess fuckery out here in LA.
You said the fuckery.
Girl.
Really, it comes from inside. Really, you have to really want it, and you have to really believe in yourself, and you have to know that you can do it. A lot of times where I come from, there's not a lot of opportunity in this field and in this area. You have to go over to Chicago, and you know, you get as far. Chicago is heavy theater. in which I started in that. But it's a one thing, people from the Midwest, it's a hard grind, and you're not easily impressed with what other people have and what they're doing. You understand? Because you're like, oh, that's great. You appreciate it and you champion someone else, but you're like, it's my turn. Let me focus on what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
So that's what keeps me going in this business of times when there's no work, low work, or quality of work that's a little poor.
What's something that matters to you quality-wise? What's something that's kind of a deal breaker for you?
Ooh, that's hard to say because I don't step on people's art because if that's what you thought was hot, how better if you thought that was dope, cool. I'm not really that, but I know what it is I want to do, and I'm a fan of film and television. So what I saw, I thought that's what it was supposed to be. I really thought that's how I want it to look and things that I'm in. Now, it doesn't always work that way because you have things of budget constraints. A lot of time I'm an independent filmmaker, storyteller. You just don't have the resources.
Yeah.
But I changed that thinking. And what I did, I looked at it like, if you take a student or if you take people and a crew who's passionate about what they do and what they love, you don't have to have a crappy movie. It just takes an effort.
Yeah.
And I learned that because coming out here, I worked in a myriad of positions and luckily mastered those, starting out acting, dancing professionally. And then I started realizing that if I want to see something how I want to see it, then you have to boss up. You know what I mean?
There's no way around it.
You have to. So I started realizing that I didn't want to PA so much. No shade to PAs. I just knew that I had more skill set and things that I could contribute. So then I was coordinating. I was PMing, production managing, unit production manager. And I said, wait a minute, hold on. I'm doing everything the producers do, but not getting the money.
Hey, look.
or the credit and everything. So I was like, well, I'm going to produce. And that's what led to producing, writing, and doing other things in this industry.
Did you have a mentor with producing, like someone you mentored that you admired to kind of help you out?
Yeah, I would have to say Sonia Norwood. I have to give her the grandest shout out because she's tough, and I like that.
Yeah.
She's a ballsy chick, and I like that. Like her or love her, hate her, however you want to look at it. She has jewels and gems, and she shared them with me, and she was very honest with me too, and direct. And I love the fact that she believed in me, and she sees a talent that maybe someone else might not. And she understands what I want to do and how I want to do it, and she pulls strings behind the scenes.
That's really fortunate for you. That's really fortunate. Have you found yourself surrounded by the right people out here?
Well, it's been a journey.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get fooled. You think it's the right people, but that doesn't even affect me. You just find a team and a crew of people that are like-minded, that do what you want to do. I found that I work in mostly a commercial market. You have a commercial and then you have a segmented. Most people say you work in the white market or you work in the black market. I've found a lot of success in the white market. But you don't want to get to the point where you're not working with your people.
Yeah.
So I surround myself with everybody.
You know what I noticed is that because we've all gone through that, to where it's like you think it's the right people, and then it's like, oh, hit me in the face, But I noticed that even when it's not the right people, it do be the right people because you learn so much. Like now you know what to look for, and I'll never work with that type of person again. No shade, you know what I mean?
Phoenix, I have the knots on the head. I have the knots. But you know, it was a learning experience. I'm like, oh well, that didn't work out. That's just how I look at it. You know, some things are really disappointing and hurtful because, for instance, I remember every person that has said, oh yeah, I want to work with you. We're going to work together. We're going to do something. I got you. I remember every single person. And I don't be upset about it. I'm not bitter about it. I just be like, okay, cool. And if not, cool. You know, sometimes you end up passing them up. Sometimes. So you just can't take it. You can't take it on the chin and let it bounce off of you and keep doing and stay focused on what it is that you came to do.
Did your skin get thicker out here, or was it always thick?
Oh, is it? Look, my family will tell you as it is, what it is, how it is.
It's so needed. It's so needed.
You know, I come from a family that they'll say, Nikki, what was that mess you was in? Yeah, and they'll be like, you did good, or you were good. I come from that family. Or they'll be like, oh, okay. You know, what's up with all these independent projects?
It's the okay for me, man. You know exactly what that means.
You know, so you get a thick skin. And then coming from, you know, our background and how we were raised, you're really grounded. And it's not any of that Hollywood fluff. I don't come from that. I can see through it. You know, that's just not my get down anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Were you surprised at how much fluff there was out here?
No. But I asked for this. I asked for every bit of this. Because, you know what I'm saying? Because I went to school, have an MBA and a pedigree.
Yeah.
But instead, I decided to do this. But I had to parlay this into a business and created a production company and created other jobs for other people and hire other people. So it's just what you put out there, you just stay focused. I cannot stress that because people will knock you off your block. They'll try. You know, some people, you know, I'm gonna keep it positive, but you've had some people don't even want you there because you might be more talented. Or some people you might be more attractive or more favored by the higher ups. And sometimes you can get down on that, but I'm just like, well, I'm just doing me. I show up prepared, ready, with a positive attitude, and ready to play.
Girl, you kill them with kindness and they will die crying. I tell you that. Because I notice it is crazy. Like a lot of people will be mad at you for being on top of your shit instead of using that same energy to make themselves better, which is a crazy concept to me because that's not helping you at all.
They won't even put you in a scene. I've been on set and they were like, we can't have you upstage the lead actor. I'm like, oh my God. I've had people cast me and say, oh, they didn't want a certain aesthetic and the casting director was like, you're doing it anyway. I think you're dope. I'm going to put you in it anyway.
That's
so
dope.
What it takes is people who will give you a shot.
Yeah. And aren't afraid of the other people's opinions. You know what I mean? It's kind of like in high school, like the varsity captain or whoever had the most pull, you know what I mean? Like kind of set the tone for everybody, kind of decided for everybody what they're going to feel, who we do and we don't like, which is insane.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Oh, it's very much that.
A lot of people come with this, like they didn't grow out of that mentality.
Yeah.
So you're surrounded by that in the workplace, which makes it difficult. A lot of people who I know who came from out of state, especially from other countries, like that's why I asked about the Hollywood thing, because they'll be kind of dumbfounded. Like, this kind of broke my heart, bro. Like, I had this one picture of how things were gonna be. I got here, the air smells like shit. You feel me? It's $800 or
So
$1,800 now, girl.
No, but you know what? I dreamed this. Look, I always knew. So, like I said, I asked for this. I don't care. Every audition, I didn't care. I was getting an audition. People would be so nervous and scared and disappointed. I'm like, you're my captive audience. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to drive across town, get in that room for the 5-10 minutes. I'm going to give you a show. I'm going to leave. I'm going to go buy me something to wear or eat or treat myself and on to the next.
Girl, you're a cut from the right cloth. That is wonderful.
Thank you. But it's really, it boils down to believing in yourself, knowing what you want to do,
Yeah.
and just staying, you know, head down to the gravel, but at the same time having pride in the work that you do.
Yeah.
And that worked for me when I finally got, let me get past, coming to Hollywood thinking you're going to be this, you know, glam doll. I never had that thing where I thought maybe looks or something was going to get it, or other ways of getting jobs and stuff like that. That never was my stick.
Yeah.
My thing was like, I work in corporate America. I'm going to go and take an acting class, get off of work at 6, go to an acting class till about midnight, 1, 2 in the morning, go to bed, can't sleep, you're fired up, and then get up and do it over again.
Yeah.
So a lot of times your colleagues have advanced before because that's all they're doing is being a starving artist. But I was like, no, I understood that this career costs money.
Yeah.
To play in it, and I wasn't the starving artist. So I knew if I needed headshots, rent, and all this and that, and classes, I had to get to it and get busy. And how you direct your career. You know, if other people think I'm funny and won awards, and I was like, okay, well, you know, let me work with that. Let me sharpen it up.
You have an award for best actress in a comedy, right?
Yeah. You know, but here's the funny thing. I came out here thinking I was a thespian. What? Drama? I love it. But I've had a lot of success comedy, like stand-up and the groundlings. I'm a groundling. So I just like entertaining people.
Yeah.
And I don't have the sense that God gave most people.
I love this. Your energy is so dope, girl. I'm eating it up.
Yeah,
Will you?
I'm so unserious.
Pardon?
I'm so unserious. People be like, Nika, you got a rested bitch face. Someone told me that, I swear to God. They were like, you
girl.
seem so serious.
Tell him to come hang out with me. Let's see what a resting bitch face looks like.
Honey, my mama would be like, can you you think everything funny? I'm like, yeah. Now I'm winning awards and booking jobs doing that. So, you know, take it as it comes.
That's really dope, though, because, like, what you have is the mentality that you need, but that, like, almost no one has. You know what I mean? No one understands what it takes. Really, no, I don't want to say nobody, but it's hard to understand if you're just coming into it. A lot of people don't have, I guess, the sturdy family background, you know what I mean, or the will, the drive, because like I was saying earlier, if you have everything kind of accessible, then you can't take it for granted, you know what I mean? But if you have to go out and get it, then it's like, bro, I came all this way, you feel me? I'm gonna give it all I got.
Correct.
You know?
Correct. And I just said, you know, my mom was like, how you know, I was trying to come out, I had a scholarship and everything to come out here. My mom was like, you're gonna go and get your education. You're not gonna be just walking around here dizzy. My dad was all Hollywood. He was like, you my star child. But I was like, okay, so I'm split.
Yeah.
And that was hard, but I always knew that I had to learn this trade. You know, the talent and the ability, that sometimes come natural, but I also knew that you had to train.
Train the skill. Yeah.
So, you know, you're gonna have to, that no I get, you're gonna have to really come with a real reason for that no. I'm not gonna give you a reason to be like no.
So I did all my homework. I checked all the boxes. You feel me?
Check, you know.
You've done a lot of different types of projects. You've done music videos, films, TV shows. What's been your favorite, not only production to work on, but your favorite like cast of people?
Ooh. That's a hard one. Maybe the most fun I've had making a movie was a horror film. It was a horror film. Won awards, horror film awards, and that was the most fun because we were so free. It was a movie I shot in Boston, Maine, and Boston, and different things. And I was the only black person in it, and the role really wasn't for someone like me. And I was just like, you know what? I'm submitting for this anyway. Let me just, you know, whatever, see what they do. They're never gonna take me, but they might. So I submitted. And they did casting in Boston, Maine, LA, and everything. So I show up, here's this little black girl coming in there, just like, well, I'm here, look what we doing. And made all of these different rounds, and I like that they had us self-tape. This was before self-tape was a thing.
Yeah.
Different scenarios and acts. And the writers and the producers was like, we're gonna write this around her. I was like, what? The comedic relief in this? Who knew? And believe it or not, that movie led to me traveling. The horror cons.
Yeah.
That's some diehard fans.
Girl, I know about it.
One of the rare black final girls. And we die first.
Look, I didn't want to ask. I'm like, but I gotta ask. They kept you to the end?
Oh, the final girl. Yes. I was like, what?
Winning, making history, you feel me?
Yeah, and they were doing interviews like 5 years later. I was like, really? Like, okay. And it was a campy slaughter movie, like a slasher. But that was the most fun. But every project, I get something out of. Sets that I'm on, I'm always fascinated with the crew. And that's how I shifted behind the camera. Because I go to scenic, shows with cameras. I'm fascinated with lighting. Mm-hmm. I have this, it's from being in movies where you weren't lit properly. Mm-hmm. And things like that. And I really love filmmaking, period, just top to bottom.
Now, did you know you wanted to be all around filmmaker, wearing all the hats when you first started, or did you go with acting only in mind?
100%. Oh, it's a plan. And I was telling Carl, Seaton, and Dale, and TA, I want to transition into an executive position.
Hey, girl, yes.
I was a little nervous because I get butterflies thinking about it, and I was like, well, I have the credentials, education, and they pumped me up. They were like, well, Anika, you have all these years of experience writing for a show.
What show?
It's on Amazon Prime. It was The G.
Okay.
Yeah. So writing on that, producing my own films and producing on other people's films and negotiating contracts between other projects. I was like, okay, what else can I do? No, but I'm a little torn because it's a conflict of interest when you're talent and then in an executive position. So I got to ponder on that because I love still entertaining people.
Yeah, that's really, really dope, man. What's been your favorite, I guess, not your favorite, but where you feel what hat do you feel the most comfortable in? Writing, acting, producing? What comes the most naturally to you?
Ooh. Okay, I'll say this. My strongest suit is writing. My passion is acting, performing.
Okay.
I'm good at producing.
Okay.
I'll stand 10 toes down.
That was a really good answer. That was a really good answer.
10 toes down on that. And that's not on no ego thing. It's just the fact of, not that you need awards to validate you. It's how you feel about it.
Yeah.
And the work that you actually created.
Yeah.
Like, acting, I'm a lot more selective. If it means I don't work as often, I'm okay with that. I still have an education. I could do a lot of other things. I just want to work with quality people who love it like I do. Like, I was on set one time with Godfrey, and I'll never forget this. It was a Dale Stelly movie, one of the 4 or 5 we've done, and we were having battles on television shows, theme shows, the songs, and he and I, and we both had neck and neck on. If you sing the theme to a song, television show, you have to name the show.
Okay, I was thinking something different. Thank you for clarifying. I thought you meant like, because I do music, I thought you meant like rapping over the instrumentals for the theme songs. I was like, damn, like that's crazy.
No,
I'm about to do that.
When you clock hours and hours of television and film, then television has always been my thing.
What did you grow up watching?
Girl, you trying to age me right
Stop
now?
it.
You trying to date me right now?
Stop it. Don't make me pull out my ID.
I ain't tripping. Trust me. I got stripes. You know what I'm saying? I got my battle wounds and I'm okay with it. But I like shows, believe it or not, like I'm gonna go back for Fantasy Island, Heart to Heart, you know, things like that. And then if we're gonna bring it current, I'm watching something. I'm binging that Day of the Jackal.
Okay.
Woo, I like that kind. Cross, shout out to that show. There's a show I watched with Coleman Domingo.
I'm not familiar.
He's a phenomenal actor.
I think Carl brought him up earlier too, and I was like, damn, I don't know.
Yeah, you know, I like that type of thing. I write that type of thing, like, you know, something gritty,
Yeah.
a psychological thriller, a little twisted,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, you a Gemini after all, you know.
Absolutely. That should tell you something. That Gemini be Gemini.
Oh, God.
Sometimes.
Trust me, I know my Capricorn be a Capricorn.
I dig it. I dig it.
So are there any genres you don't like? Or, and also, is there a genre that you don't like? And when you say quality of production, do you mean more so like the people involved or the story itself? Like the budget?
Look, we're all artists. This is all our craft and what we do. And everybody, it is my belief, and I'm choosing to believe this, it could be delusional, but I feel like everyone sets out to do a good job. But I really want people to understand and practice like what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't involve money. Sometimes it's time
Yeah.
and passion. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you know that you're a great cinematographer, listen, I'm one of those people who will strap a camera to a skateboard.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And create a dolly, create all kinds of different things and create shots. You know, I get off on that kind of thing. If your thing is lighting, create some lighting scheme that creates depth. You know what I'm saying? If you're an actor, you know, dig deep. You know what I'm saying? We all have trauma.
Yeah.
And I welcome every chance to show my trauma. Every chance, you're going to get this trauma, you know.
Okay. So what are some of the, I guess, I don't want to say goals because that's not really what I mean. It's like, what are some of the stories that you want to tell that you think need to be heard by this generation specifically? Like the new generation coming in. What do you think as a filmmaker you could give to this generation to help them out a little bit?
I'll answer it from a creative standpoint. I feel like we should embrace the new technology and experiment more with VR. I know there are a lot of talented black directors and things like that. Alton Glass is one person that I liked working with him in The Confidant. But he gets it, and he digs deep, and he explores different types of technical aspects. So I encourage us to think out of the box. Whatever you're doing, if you're working and you're involved, that's cool, but venture more into that. Me, from a business standpoint, I would like for us to look more into horror or thrillers, psychological thrillers, horror, supernatural, things like that, because there's a lot of money to be made there. That movie that I told you about, the horror that I did, all of that, I negotiated that contract myself and was getting back in. I was just like,
that's the one that won the Indie Film Festival Award, right? The Indie Film Festival Award?
No, this was before that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was the horror one when we did in Boston and Maine. Sometimes you have to look at where the money is. If you're looking from a production standpoint, I'll put on my producer hat. You want to look into where the audience is.
Okay.
And that is a very, very strong, untapped market for us. Blumhouse got it. They get it. But again, they're not really us.
Yeah.
But, you know, we should consider that. Like, I'm starring in a movie coming up. We're getting ready to start. And it's it's a, I guess, supernatural thriller where I play like a demon slayer.
Ooh,
It's
girl.
great. It's wild. Ooh, it's good. It's good. And
When is this coming out?
we haven't shot yet.
Okay,
I'm
girl,
still
keep
rehabbing.
me posted.
But
yeah.
I'm really excited. But it's a genre that I always wanted to do. Like, you know, I did stunts. I did weapons training. So,
I know that was fire.
man, you know, but like I said, you have to be trained in a lot of different things to be marketable.
And willing to be trained, willing to learn too.
Yeah, it's a skill. Martial arts, stunts, combat skills. I'm very proficient with a firearm.
Okay, girl, Gary,
At,
Indiana.
at
in
a
the
gun
house.
range. Let me clean that up. on the gun range, not in real life.
Wink, wink. Nah.
But yeah, you get to explore different things and genres. So that's really untapped. And with that, I'm excited about it, playing different roles. So I would recommend us thinking outside of the box.
Yeah.
And content, because it's open. It's all these streaming services. There's something for everybody.
Yeah.
But well, y'all, you know, black people, we could do a little horror. We could do a little psychological thriller.
I fucks with that.
Why not? Why
Do you
not?
think you would create your own series one day?
Oh yeah. I'm working. That's already. I have scripts. I have scripts where I'm working with other people and things like that. That's my sole goal. Like, I book films easily, but television is hard to crack. I've been blessed to work with some great talent, almost every network I've had an opportunity to work on, but it's very difficult to crack that. So the hard is what makes it worth it. You know, so I stay focused on, I did have a big disappointment. We had a series, and it's a television, I don't know if I can speak on the name of it yet, but it's a television series where I play a cop. And it's so good, but the strike should,
Oh, yeah.
we didn't even get the chance to be announced and come back. You know, the powers that be in the team are still, you know, working it out. But I was so excited for you guys to see that because, I always, you know, cop roles, detective, I slay those kind of roles, and I want people to see me in something different than.
I feel you. I feel you.
You know,
Because you're so dynamic. Like I said, I was checking out your stuff, and you have so many different types of roles, so many different, and a lot, man. Like I was looking, I was like, damn, I had to keep scrolling. That shit was, I was
I've been
fire.
out here playing, child. I've been out here having
love
a
it.
ball.
I
I
love it.
can't complain. I'm blessed with certain things. Sometimes you wish your people would have, you know, be more familiar with your projects. Like I said, I work in a commercial market, and the Europeans tend to like my work, but at the same time, you know, I'm every bit a sister. So,
Do you think it has any idea that the being received has anything to do with being in LA? Because you know it's like very much crabs in a barrel mentality out here. Do you think if you were somewhere else in the world that you would find more what's the word I'm looking for? Like more welcoming energy from the people of LA?
I think, well, unless you go over to London and things like that, they don't really mind. They're just focused on the work, and your training, and, you know, being the thespian. But no, you know, I don't play into that too much out here, because if you get to thinking that, it'll get in your head.
Yeah.
And it will wear you out, and you start thinking all types of negative thoughts and things like that. I just go with what I feel passionate about and who likes me. You know what I'm saying? If you know what I do, if you like what I do, hire me. That's one thing about a lot of work that I've done now. They're like, can a black girl act? Okay, give it a job. I'm okay with that. I don't, because I know a lot of times people will be like famous, you know what I'm saying, like that, and struggle. I just want to do the work.
Yeah.
You know
and
what
do
I'm
it
saying?
well.
Yes, hopefully, you know, that's subjective. Because, you know, sometimes you see yourself and you're like, what in the... Anika.
But you know the effort and the intention that you put behind it. I think we can all like admit to ourselves when we do our best for real and what we could have done better. You know what I mean? So I think no matter how the final product comes out, if you know for sure that you gave it your all,
That,
like, you know what I mean?
come on, Phoenix, that, because that's all you got. You know, you get out there, if you prepared, you study it, and you train for it, I think, you know, I think you're going to be successful. Now, the elements around it, you never know what you can come up with.
You can't control
But you
that.
did your part, and hopefully you're a team player, and you come on that set positive. Like, I come to work, like, playing. I have a ball on the set. People be like, Anika.
I know. I feel the same way. They be sick of me. They be like, okay, it's too early for this shit. Like,
Yes, but you know, I come on there, I'm having a ball because I could be somewhere else.
yeah, yeah.
You know, so I'm gracious and appreciate that, and even times when I've been on sets where the catering ran out. You know what I'm saying? Or
Everybody in a bad mood, girl. Ain't no food. What?
right. You hey, listen. Or either you know you got your friends in the kitchen cooking up some some things. I don't care. You know, it's just all in the filmmaking. But if everybody is having a good time on set and you working with good people, I love that shit. You know what I mean? And to see the finished product, that's what feels good. And if you happen to get an award or recognized,
Cherry on top.
I was just curious. That's the cherry for me. Like, cool.
I love that. I want to ask, on behalf of all the young black girls at home, all the girls, generally, but specifically young black women, because there's a lot of them watching you who are going to be like, damn, I want to be like her. I want to do all the things and have that confidence because, like I said, out here, it's a very dog-eat-dog world.
Oh.
And if you play into any of these constructs or any of these stereotypes that they put out here saying that this is how people see black people, this is how you can and can't move in LA, you know what I mean? It can be very difficult for you to know how the hell to move, you feel me? So what would you say to the young women who want to not only be successful, but want to have that same confidence that you carry? Like, it's the way that you speak, the way that you sit up, the way that you walk and talk to people with your head up high, you feel me? Like, how can someone who hasn't had the same background as you find that out here in a place where not everyone wants to see you win?
Okay. Dang, that was a good one. Come on, Phoebe. Girl, you got some good questions. Listen, I'm gonna keep it one. I'll keep it up, buck. You have to be grounded.
Yeah.
You have to be grounded out here because I came out here not wanting anything from anybody. You know, my daddy, I'm a daddy's girl, my daddy taught me that. You know, I'm not trying to get anything from you. I'm not an opportunist. I just want to work. I just want to learn. You come out here knowing what you want to do, knowing that you can do it. And then you have to learn and figure out how to go about doing that. Yeah. Sometimes you have to be humble and learn from other people. Sometimes you got to get in there and learn it yourself. And sometimes and there are no shortcuts.
Girl.
You know, people like to say that now, but if you're really serious about there, you get out there and you have pride, take pride in what it is that you're doing. One thing I don't do, I've never been the type to try to position myself next to people. I know a lot of people do it and good at it and stuff like that. I'm very authentic. If I sit up there and talk to you, it's because I just want to talk to you. Well, I just want to know things about you. People be like, Nika, you're a great networker. You get out there and you just be blah, 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 blah. I was like, nah, it's just that I could be at a screening or at a award show. I'm not even talking about any of that or business. I'm like, oh, girl, them shoes are cute.